considered one of the most vulnerable countries. We need to adapt the climate change.
Overall, there seems to be agreement about changes in South Africa in rainfall patterns, delays in the coming of the rain, and more intense storms and flood events.
The biggest issue resulting from climate change in Senegal is sea level rise and storm surges.
Jamaica is a small island developing state. By that very definition, we are exposed to climate change. The information for us is not pretty.
Adaptation is very critical because majority of the Indian population still depends on agriculture, which is primary source of income for many of the majority, and they are highly vulnerable.
Direct access is a modality pioneered by the Adaptation Fund that enables national organizations and agencies to be accredited by the fund as national implementing entities, or NIEs. Once accredited, NIEs apply for financing from the fund for adaptation activities in their countries. They receive the financing directly and implement the activities on the ground. Direct access provides ownership at the country level and also builds capacity in country to design, implement, and monitor climate adaptation initiatives.
When you go through this process, whatever the issue is, even if it is not successful, it gives you the possibility to develop new capacities, to identify your gaps in terms of institutional capacities, in terms of compliance. At the end of this process, you have the opportunity to really develop your capacities, which is really empowering. And at the national level as well, you gain much more recognition from the national authorities.
Some key takeaways from that process really underlined the importance of documentation. The things that the fund was interested in knowing were things that we had been doing, but unfortunately much of that was not documented. Documentation of processes and procedures is very important in the accreditation process.
The accreditation process has given us, have been instrumental in building the national capacities in terms of planning, budgeting, and the procurement procedures.
Accreditation with the Adaptation Fund Board has given us focus on adaptation as an activity. We want to build on this to get the further international financing as well as development of further funding mechanisms.
To be accredited as an implementing agency, it gives us a great sense of ownership and responsiveness to the project. After we were accredited as a national implementing agency, we win a central place in the debate in Argentina regarding climate change, adaptation and mitigation.
It helped us also to formalize and kind of and get stronger into procedures. Procedures perhaps we were already doing, but they were not so formal. Kind of helped us to get better organized. For instance, for the internal audit, we didn't used to have an internal audit. We did have a lot of internal control, but then it was part of what we decided to improve. And not only because of the Adaptation Fund, I think that the whole process has actually make us improve as an organization.
What a fantastic opportunity this has been in South Africa, just to have a focus on climate change adaptation and be able to elevate it through our various steering committees to the level of National Treasury, the Presidency, and so on. And where it's different to the kind of funding opportunities we've had before is that we've been able to develop a South African strategy for how we want this money to be spent. What we've been able to do through the direct access modality is visit the project sites many times, up to 15 times. We've been to project sites, meeting with local communities, meeting with local actors, building capacity where that's necessary, finding project champions for the different components of the projects. It's only through direct access that we have been empowered to work in this very direct, tangible way with the funding opportunity and build partnerships that were not there before and were not necessarily obvious.
Direct access promotes more of a stakeholder consultation and involvement directly, that's all. So which is most important aspect of adaptation project.
One of the key elements or the key success factors for Adaptation Fund is involving local actors. When it's direct access, you have better ownership. So ownership and also the possibility to have a direct influence on planning, on interventions, on how to improve, it really makes it different. It really makes it more effective and more success.
It is really a unique opportunity for us to build and to develop our capacities. Because going through the process of project development with the Adaptation Fund, during these 3 past years, the CSC has developed so much capacities in terms of financial management, in terms of project development, project implementation, in terms of supervising downstream partners and managing money for downstream partners. For me, it is a unique experience for countries like Senegal. And now CSC is coordinating this big program, including 11 West African countries. And this is thanks to the status we got as a national implementing entity for the Adaptation Fund.
Part of having a direct access is part of its importance is building the capacities of national institutions to directly implement without someone in between. We consider it as a catalyst or a seed money that would leverage additional financing available.
The Adaptation Fund was among the first major climate financing mechanisms that we were able to apply to and access for resources. And I think the demonstration effect of an international agency reposing confidence in our organization as one that could work with them through the direct access modality was really a confidence booster.
This is a good beginning to sort of demonstrate that, country-driven processes are the eventual sustainable processes to manage adaptation. Like we all now know, adaptation is an ongoing process. We'll never be done with it. Currently, the whole world, and especially the global processes, are grappling with issues of climate finance readiness. And I think part of this was addressed by the accreditation process under the Adaptation Fund. As an NIE, we are ready to handle climate finance.
We understand the country. We have got the credibility of knowing how it works in South Africa. And I think we're able to bring through direct access that credibility, that local understanding, that commitment to the projects in a way that I don't think is possible without a direct access modality.
The Adaptation Fund is going to help us to get more financing, to have new partners, and to develop with innovation new projects. That's something that's going to be very good for us and for the country.
Thank you, Adaptation Fund.
Muchas gracias, Fondo de Adaptación.
We feel privileged to be part of the family of African NIEs of the Adaptation Fund.
Jërëjëf Adaptation Fund.
Muchas gracias, Fondo de Adaptación.
Murakoze Adaptation Fund.
Nedoiga, newega, Adaptation Fund.
Adaptation Fund का धन्यवाद.
Muchas gracias, Fondo de Adaptación, por su apoyo.
Shukran Adaptation Fund.
Gracias, Fondo de Adaptación.
Adaptation Fund.